What about at wide receiver? As you said, early, often, as many as you can get, at least 8. I've tried to get at least 9 in my drafts because it makes sense. Those guys in round 15, if you get a Tyrell Williams has 150 and 2 TD week, like that's going to significantly help you out. So it makes sense to have as many receivers as you can for those flex spots to fill those out. But how is your approach to the position beyond just early off as many as you can get? Who are some guys and tiers you're really trying to make sure you get into?
Yeah, it's really that third round. And it kind of feels like the same thing as last year where I was super heavy into the third, fourth round receivers last year. It's kind of the same thing this year. It's just a great setup with pretty much everybody in that range, man. I like pretty much all of them except for again, I feel like an ass, but like I really wasn't that in on Michael Thomas. Like I liked him from like the way, a cost perspective, but I had like Keenan and Allen Robinson higher, so I got lucky there too. But yeah, man, I think fourth round Thielen is just stealing. Like I still can't believe he's a fourth round pick. Like in May, he was like a fifth, and now he's adjusted a little bit more, and he's kind of come back into that like Mike Evans and Godwin range. But yeah, Thielen's been a big target of mine in that fourth round. Really any time in the fourth round, early fourth, mid, and late.
Yeah, I've seen him even fall into the fifth at times. I got him yesterday, early fifth. That one team it's insane. I got to post it. I think you'll be a big fan of that one. That I got. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting at the beach with a buddy. I'm like, yeah, let's do a draft, win $1 million today. And the draft was unfolding. Like, holy shit, this is going to be the $1 million. I was pumped about that one. So yeah, I love Thielen. I'm loving McLaurin. I got pretty lucky too, in the sense that the Allen Robinson and MT was kind of the decision for a lot of these, and I was going Allen Robinson every single time. What he's been doing throughout his career with complete garbage hurling to him, if the floor is that, and Fields could unlock a new ceiling, I don't think enough people are talking about how much of a potential he has as the wide receiver one, like the wide receiver one. Now that Rodgers is back and Adams is in, it's probably going to be that guy again, especially if this is the last dance for those two together. They're going to be chasing stats, but I really could see, Fields. The big critique on him was he locked onto his number one too much. Well, good news for Allen Robinson if that's really the case, and I know a lot of people disprove that, but still, all gravy for Allen Robinson there. So I loved him in round 3. What about when you're kind of taking those big stabs late? Is there any high upside guys that, whether it's mid to late guys, that you really are finding yourself exposed to an underdog or wherever?
Yeah. Honestly, it's been a lot of the rookies. I got in on Elijah Moore before the rocket ship took off. So got in on that when he was, consistently like going in the 12th, 13th round. I love Rondale Moore too. The Moore brothers have kind of been like my two guys, especially on Kyler teams, just an easy stack. And Rondale's price really hasn't adjusted like super, super much. Outside of that, man, I think once you get past like the guys that go in like the 10th round, where that's like the end of like, Mike Williams, Waddle, and Pittman, I think it's just like a big, long, flat tier. I kind of like T.Y. Hilton. It's gross. It's super gross. But, Phillip Rivers' arm was shot last year. And if we know anything about Carson Wentz, it's that he loves to be aggressive and throw into tight windows. I think the reason why T.Y. started to kind of pop at the end of last year is because they opened up that offense a bit more. And I think with Wentz, I think Hilton will probably end up being not like his runaway number one target, but I think Hilton offers like a nice value. I won't say Hilton's going to be a league winner by any stretch, but I think he's a solid value as like a wide receiver 4 or 5 right now.
Absolutely. I think a couple points on both. A lot of those guys you brought up. One with Rondale Moore. I talked about this with Pete on Monday. In terms of looking at the playoff schedule, like obviously stacking is important, but also game stacking down the stretch. The Cowboys get the Cardinals in like that last championship week. And again, you have to make the championship to actually have that matter. But if you do, let's say you get Zeke early, like you want a Kyler and Rondale stack. And even if you don't get Kyler, like try to get that guy late, because that game could just go berserk. Just, DFS, how important game stacking was.
Right.
Do that with your best ball potentially too. But also 100%. So he's targeting those game stacks late. And then, who's the last person you just brought up? I wanted to make sure to touch on him. T.Y. Hilton. Yeah. So the Colts have a ridiculously easy schedule for those last 4 weeks as well. And one of those things with the Colts is they're nobody wants them. They're all so cheap other than Jonathan Taylor. but they're projected for, I believe, the 4th highest like weekly implied total by Vegas. So I don't necessarily love them on paper either, but you got it. Vegas knows what they're talking about. They consistently get it right. Yep. So that's got to be factored in. And so who am I going after? Well, why not the receiver who, for more often than not, is 1K, going deep, blowing up more often, and now has that deep arm. Hopefully, Frank Reich, whether or not he can unlock Wentz again remains to be seen. But the last time they were together, he was on pace for the MVP season. So yeah. I love that. I like that as like if you get TY, maybe you get Wentz a few rounds later, like a late cheap stack. Regardless of what you've already done. I think that's a fantastic strategy for the position. It sounds gross. I'm with you. It's like
it's not sexy. You're not going to be like tapping yourself on the back after you draft T.Y. Hilton in the 12th round, but he'll give you a couple nice usable weeks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm 100% with you there. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.